Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Shart, and I am here going to go ahead and demonstrate a little mod that I have made today. It took about 15 minutes to actually make the mod, and it's probably going to take longer to show off the video of it. No, not really. But I will go ahead at the end of the video tell you guys exactly how I have done this. But to begin with, I just want to go ahead and show off what it does. So I was watching Ethos Mindcrack server Let's Play about a week ago, and he kind of was like, he seemed a bit upset about the fact that beacons, when you there's only two different colors for beacons. So like, if I go ahead and take a beacon here, there's obviously the default white color, which will come up in a second. There it goes. And then there's this little black color that you can do by covering up all sides with opaque blocks and then covering up the top. However, that black one will not stay because it blocks the sky from the beacon. So yeah, so there's like very little you can do with the beacon. But if that wasn't the case, beacons could be very useful, like a lot more useful in survival and even in creative, I could see, or just maps that were built with creative. So I have gone ahead and made this little feature, because with beacons, if you put glass or any other non-opaque blocks on top of them, it will not block the sunlight or will not block the sky, so it will continue to render. Also, putting colored blocks over it normally would not do anything, so that's what I went ahead and did here. If you put white, it'll stay the same because it's gonna allow all colors to pass through. However, if you put something like orange, it's gonna take whatever the wool, like there's a table for dyes and wool fleecy colors, and it will take the RGB values of that and it will color the beacon accordingly. So at the end of the video, I will show you what I mean by that in specifically. If you know about coding, then you may be able to use this in the future if you do Minecraft modding. So yeah, if I go ahead and put the magenta one on there, you can see it's very magenta. There's light blue. I haven't even tested all these yet. Light blue looks pretty good. Yellow looks kind of limeish yellow. I've done that one though. And then there's green. There's pink. Actually, that's lime green. So there is gray, light gray, and then we got a few more. Actually, light gray, so cyan. Alright, so cyan, purple, blue, oh, I need the brown back, brown, green, red, and black. So yeah, the black is super dark, and it's even darker than the one that you could do by putting all the opaque blocks around the beacon base. So yeah, if you're also curious, they do not mix, but you can do this. Like, they don't mix the colors, so you can see there that it goes to white and then it turns to green, and then by putting the purple on top, it goes from the green to the purple. So yeah, you can definitely take a piston like this. Let's see. Should do this. Sticky. Should get a lever. Oh yeah, that worked actually. And then by doing that, you can see it changes. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Eclipse, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how this is done. Okay, so we're here in Eclipse. This is just a default MCP workspace. This isn't with Forge or anything. So I just went ahead and modified the tile entity beacon renderer just straight from that. And in this, what I did to begin with is I made a little method here to create a list of integers, which is all the intercepting points of the glass. So by this, it starts at the beacon base and then goes all the way up to the sky, the highest point it can. And if it finds a blocked instance of block stained glass, or if a block is equal to block stained glass, it will add that point from right here, so it'll increment each one until it hits the top of the world, and it'll add that value to this list. So, and then it'll return that list. And up here is where I get the list. It's right here. So I call that list and I say, alright, so start at the first part of the beacon and then go all the way up to the sky. And then it'll give me all the values. So over here, I'll go ahead and say, so for each one of those, so everything in this list, I'm saying so a whole bunch, I apologize, but for each one in this list here, it'll return an integer called value, and then it will go ahead and see if the value is under the lowest one, which the lowest one begins at 255, and then if it is, it'll set that to the difference between the value and the beacon y coordinate, and then it'll set the lowest value to the actual current value. So that's what this guy is, and that will be a place where the glass is. After that, I have a little colors float array here, which pretty much just gets the RGB values of the metadata of that block. So it says world.getBlock metadata at the y coordinates of this block. So this is a y coordinate of whatever it returns here, and then it will pretty much return the color table of that. So as you can see here, these are all the RGB values of what Mojang has put for the VLC colors of the sheep. So yeah, this is for every 15 or 16 colors, and that's what this does here. So then right here, it sets them all. So it's saying the first one in that list, so pretty much if this was red wool or red stained glass, it would put this one as the R, put this as the G, put this as the B, and then so this would actually be corresponding to the white. So it worked out pretty well with doing that. I kind of guessed that would work, and I was pretty glad that it did end up working properly. Alright, so moving on. If the glass is not the last one to be rendered, it will then render it. So that's pretty much saying don't render it if there is only one glass, because then it'll render it right here. It's this one right here, and that's pretty much what makes it render for the rest of the way up. And this is pretty much making sure that it doesn't go any farther than the next glass. So it gets in the glass list, in the glass points list, it'll get the next one, so it'll get the higher one, and it'll get the difference between that and the current Y. So I could actually pretty much say cur Y instead of L. And then right here, this is, I'm pretty sure this is like the Y of where it will render. It's pretty much changing right here. So D1 plus equals the difference between Y and the beacon Y. So yeah. And Y is passed through right here. So this is all pretty much just the vanilla code of the beacon. It's just all tessellator stuff. And then I also changed the color right here and here. I actually don't need this here, but I don't know why I'm keeping it. And then lastly, it'll render from the first part, it'll start to render at the beacon, at the lowest part of the beacon, and then it'll go all the way until it finds, oh, I just dropped something. It'll go from like the lowest part all the way to the first glass, so that it will actually have the beginning white part. And yeah, that's pretty much all it does. It's actually very simple. it didn't take long at all. It took about 15 minutes, and that was more of making sure that all the math was proper and that nothing would go before it should and wouldn't go too long. So yeah, pretty much all I do is just render another beam, define the height. So this is the height right here, and then this is the Y that it starts to render at. And yeah, and then there's some different stuff with the way that it renders, so that I don't even understand. I didn't look too much into it, but I just figured out what I had to change the values by. And yeah, that's pretty much how I did all this. I will probably be putting this on the Minecraft suggestions Reddit, just because I think that it would be awesome to see this in the actual vanilla game, and I hope that somebody at Mojang is like, hey, this looks cool, and this should definitely be a thing. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you next time, and feel free to subscribe if you do want to see more videos like this. I may make this a Forge port, but till then, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'll probably just keep this here, and I may port this over sometime tomorrow. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and talk to you next time. See ya.